Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode where we go into a journey within. Today's episode invites us into a deeply personal and universal question: what's healing? And how does healing help us ascend spiritually, emotionally, and even energetically? We will also explore a powerful healing modality called quantum healing hypnosis technique, or QHHT, and how it allows us to access past lives, connect with our higher self or our subconscious mind, and neutralize karmic imprints that may be blocking our path. So let's take a deep breath as always and drop into your heart space. And let's begin. So, I have a few segments, and the first segment I would like to explore with you: what's healing? When we talk about healing, many picture recovery from illness or from trauma, something to fix. Healing is not problem solving, but true healing is far more expansive. It's a return to wholeness, a restoration of harmony across our body, mind, emotions, and soul. Healing is a remembering of who we truly are before we are conditioned by fear, pain, or societal expectations. And when I say conditioning, I'm not talking about on only this lifetime. So, healing is a process of making the unconscious conscious and reclaiming the parts of ourselves we have disowned, we have forgotten, and therefore buried so deep. And here is something that's very profound: healing does not only begin in this life. Many of the patterns we carry, whether it's chronic illness, fear of abandonment, other fears that many of us have, or self sabotage, they're all rooted in past life experiences. And these unhealed imprints carry karmic energy, looping through lifetimes until they are acknowledged. That's so important: until they are acknowledged, understood, and transmuted. Which brings us to a deeper layer of healing, neutralizing karma by accessing past lives. We'll get into this more when we explore a healing modality, which is hypnotherapy, that I practice. But know this: healing is multidimensional, and time in the spiritual realm is not linear. There is only this eternal now, which we have often spoken about in many of our past videos. I go to my second segment now. What are the aspects of healing that support ascension? Yeah. So first of all, how does healing help us ascend? Now, ascension is a journey of raising our vibration and expanding our consciousness. Many of you may be wondering, when I use the word ascension, what do you mean by ascending? What do you mean by ascension? Ascension, as I just now said, is the journey of raising our vibration and expanding our consciousness. So, what do I mean by vibration? All of us are at our fundamental levels, atoms and those subatomic particles, aren't we? So, therefore, physics says that all of those particles are not static, they all vibrate. So, everything has a frequency. And so, ascension is nothing but raising our vibration. And to ascend, we must release that weighs down, and that's only logical. Let's discuss some of the potent aspects of healing that support our spiritual ascension. First aspect of healing that I want to discuss is physical healing itself. Many physical ailments are not purely biological. We think it's all genetic, it's all hereditary. But the truth is that they often originate from unresolved emotional energy stored in the body. And that may be very, very difficult for some of us to accept. For instance, chronic lower back pain may stem from long held feelings of insecurity or lack of financial support. Throat issues can be linked to suppressed self expression or fear of speaking one's truth. Digestive problems often mirror an inability to digest life experiences stemming from anxiety, overwhelm, and emotional resistance. Leg pain or injuries may be associated with often feeling stuck, fear of moving forward, or resisting one's life's path. You don't want to acknowledge or accept the path forward, especially when there is internal conflict about the direction one's life is taking. When emotions are unprocessed, they become energetic blockages. I might have told you this earlier in one of my previous videos. Emotion is energy in motion. So it's supposed to flow, right? Energy in motion, which is emotion, is supposed to flow uninterruptedly. So when emotions are unprocessed and when they become energetic blockages, they create stagnation in the body's natural flow. Over time, this stagnation can manifest as physical symptoms. The second aspect that I want to touch upon is the emotional alchemy. When we transform grief into compassion, anger into clarity, fear into trust, we are alchemizing dense emotions into higher frequencies. These lighten the soul's energy field, and then we ascend. The third aspect is forgiveness and release. To ascend, we must let go. I know I've dedicated an entire episode, a video on letting go. What do we let go? We must let go of grudges, shame, guilt, and sometimes our old identities that no longer serve us. Forgiveness, forgiving oneself is the first step. Forgiveness untethers the soul. You know, tethering, a giant elephant is tethered to a small stick. That's tethering. Forgiveness untethers the soul from suffering and opens the heart to freedom. The fourth aspect that I want to discuss is shadow integration. The aspects of ourselves we suppress: anger, fear, jealousy, trauma. When we suppress, they don't disappear. They shape our reality from the shadows. True healing brings these aspects into light, integrating them with love, with self love. Reconnecting to the higher self is the fifth aspect of ascension. Healing brings us closer to the divine intelligence within. While we align with our higher self, we begin to live from the soul's wisdom rather than from wounded reaction. Yeah. And the sixth aspect is many soul wounds are ancient. So, accessing past lives and neutralizing karma is the sixth healing aspect that would help us ascend. These ancient wounds may originate from other lifetimes, unhealed traumas, vows of silence, betrayal, or persecution. By accessing past lives, we can witness and neutralize the karmic energy that's still influencing our current reality. This is not about reliving the past pain, let me clarify. It's about releasing it with awareness, with compassion, freeing our soul to evolve without the weight of the past. And you may wonder, with all the wisdom that the soul has, why would it carry the past memories into its current life? You know, for the soul, it changes one lifetime or your physical body to another physical body or a lifetime. It's just a blink of an eye. So, when the soul transitions from one lifetime to another, it carries a lot of memories and these unresolved traumas or unhealed past wounds. For a soul, it doesn't really look at time as linear, like past, current life, and future. It looks at as a journey, a continuous journey, and every time it just blinks its eye, it changes its form. It just changes its uh, life's blueprint. It just takes another avatar. Yeah, it's just like you pass from one level to another level of video game. So for a soul, As it journeys through various lifetimes, it carries unresolved, unhealed past trauma, past wounds. And it is a good idea with awareness to address those unresolved, unhealed wounds in this lifetime. Okay. And the final aspect that I want to touch upon is body, mind, spirit coherence. Healing integrates all aspects of our being, not to transcend the body, but to anchor more divine light into the body, unifying our multidimensional self. Now, let me discuss this hypnotherapy modality that I practice and that I am familiar with, which is called quantum healing hypnosis technique, or QHHT as an abbreviation. One of the most powerful tools to access deep healing, past life insight, and karmic release is this technique called quantum healing hypnosis technique, or QHHT. This was developed by late Dolores Cannon. QHHT helps individuals access their subconscious mind, also known as higher self, through deep theta state hypnosis. In this relaxed state, many of people, individuals who contact me often travel through past lives, interdimensional realities, soul contracts, some symbolic dreamscapes that mirror internal wounds. So during a QHHT or a hypnotherapy session, my clients can uncover the origin of physical illness or an emotional pain. Sometimes, some clients don't have children and they want to know, why is my wife not conceiving? Why are we not, as a couple, not bearing children? Sometimes they revisit past life events that are still affecting them. They are able to understand karmic relationships and patterns. Some patterns, like repeatedly they get into some incident or the other, repeatedly they get attacked. Let's see, a legal suit or something or the other. There is a repetition, there is a pattern. Sometimes they get into dysfunctional relationships. So that could be that could be because of one of the unresolved past wound or a karmic relationship. They also receive healing instantaneously. Sometimes it sounds so miraculous. So they receive healing and direct guidance from their subconscious mind or their higher self. So, and when the higher self is accessed, it knows exactly whether that's releasing fear, receiving energy adjustments, or dissolving soul contracts that no longer serving your growth. The subconscious knows exactly what this individual needs help with. Now, from a healing perspective, physical ailments are seen as messages from the subconscious or higher self, trying to draw our attention to areas of emotional or spiritual misalignment. So, during a hypnotherapy session, clients often discover the emotional or karmic origin of their illness, sometimes tracing it back to their past life traumas or soul contracts or suppressed emotions in this life. Leg issues, for instance, may stem from past life where the soul experienced imprisonment, amputation, or resistance to a forced journey, which continues to energetically influence the present body. Once the origin is understood, the emotional charge is released, and the higher self can initiate instant or progressive physical healing because the lesson embedded in the pain has been received. And that's the point. Okay. So, in this way, the body becomes a mirror for the soul, and the healing becomes a reunion with truth. When we access the higher self or the subconscious mind, we get to ask many, many questions which you need answers right now. And there is no restriction as to what kind of questions you can ask with your higher self. Feel free, whatever you feel like asking, you may go for it. I just recollect one of the stories, a journey, a client's journey. And as I said, I'm a hypnotherapist and I use QHHT modality. A client came with a chronic throat issue and an overwhelming fear of speaking her truth. That was revealed during the session. So, in the session, she was taken to a past life where she had been a spiritual teacher during a time of suppression. Remember, there were inquisitions, a time where spirituality and telling the truth and all these things were, even pursuing science was not entertained. And as a result of this, she was a scientist, she was a teacher, and she was executed for sharing her knowledge. So her higher self revealed that her throat issues and fear were karmic echoes from that lifetime. Once she witnessed and released the trauma with love and forgiveness, her symptoms gradually faded. And more importantly, her voice, physical voice, became very strong and empowered, and she became very, very confident. Later, at a later point of time, she began to, address people and speak with a lot of confidence. So, hypnotherapy didn't just heal her symptoms, it freed her soul from a cycle of silence. Isn't that powerful? Now, let's have a reflection of what we have been discussing so far. What's healing? It's not just medicine for the body, it's liberation for the soul that's trapped in many, many unhealed wounds. It's a path of remembering of who we truly are, reconciling and returning to wholeness across time and dimensions. Whether through emotional release, forgiveness, or past life healing, every step of the healing journey clears the way for ascension. And that's our ultimate purpose. So, here are a few final messages that I would like you to continue to remember. You're not broken. You are becoming whole, and every moment you choose to heal is a sacred act of returning to your light. Thank you for listening till now. If today's episode opened something within you, I invite you to share it with those you think can benefit listening to this. And if you're curious about exploring hypnotherapy and working with your past life healing and karma, feel free to reach out to me at my email that I have left in the description. Until next time, stay grounded, stay radiant, and keep walking the path of remembrance.